तो एक नए युग की नींव पड़ती है। भारत माता की
The last 1 month, if you see, the share prices of Genzol Engineering has fallen more than 58%.
Why are the rating firms calling the debt payments as default?
We have two credible credit rating agencies on March 4th coming and downgrading the stock to D.
Statements are consistently being proven wrong, and transactions are being taken place which are different from what they were originally pictured to be.
The company claimed it would roll out 6,400 electric vehicles. But what it has rolled out is a shocking scam. Funds meant for the project were funneled allegedly back to the promoters, the Jaggi brothers. What did the money buy? Not EVs, of course, but a lavish flat in Gurgaon's luxurious DLF Carmelias.
Hello, Moto.
Motorola, India's leading AI smartphone brand.
Hello and welcome to a very special program. This is the 81st annual general meeting of IATA, the International Air Transport Association. We're at the Bharat Mandapam here in Delhi. This is a huge event co-organized by Indigo. What is it all about? Well, in very short terms, let me tell you, it's about bringing together the biggest players in international aviation. Where exactly is this industry headed? What are some of the opportunities and what are some of the challenges? All that and more here at this huge IATA meet. Let's go find out what this is all about.
In June 2025, over 1,000 airline leaders, policymakers and innovators gathered in Delhi for the IATA AGM, a landmark event hosted by Indigo. It was India's moment to shine, showcasing a journey from a single airmail flight in 1911 to 157 airports and 300 million passengers in 2024, now becoming the world's third largest aviation market. The AGM's welcome reception set the stage for the discussions on India's rise, fueled by over 1,000 aircraft orders from Air India and Indigo. Brought to you by GE Aerospace, this episode explores how the IATA AGM put India's ambitions on the global map.
IATA की 81st एनुअल जनरल मीटिंग और वर्ल्ड एयर ट्रांसपोर्ट समिट में मैं आप सब अतिथियों का भारत में स्वागत करता हूं, आपका अभिनंदन करता हूं। ये कार्यक्रम 4 दशक बाद भारत में हो रहा है। इन 4 दशकों में भारत में बहुत कुछ बदल चुका है। आज का भारत पहले से कहीं ज्यादा आत्मविश्वास से भरा हुआ है। ग्लोबल एविएशन इकोसिस्टम में हम न केवल एक विशाल मार्केट है, बल्कि पॉलिसी लीडरशिप, इनोवेशन और इंक्लूसिव डेवलपमेंट के प्रतीक भी है। आज भारत ग्लोबल स्पेस एविएशन कन्वर्जेंस का एक उभरता हुआ लीडर है। फ्रेंड्स, बीते वर्षों में भारत ने सिविल एविएशन के क्षेत्र में एक अभूतपूर्व परिवर्तन देखा है। आज भारत दुनिया का तीसरा सबसे बड़ा डोमेस्टिक एविएशन मार्केट है। हमारी उड़ान योजना की सक्सेस इंडियन सिविल एविएशन का एक गोल्डन चैप्टर है। इस योजना के तहत 15 मिलियन से ज्यादा यात्रियों को सस्ती एयर ट्रैवल की सुविधा मिली है।
The IATA AGM and India's Udan scheme, which is connecting over 480 routes, are distinct yet complementary forces in aviation. While Udan empowers small towns to soar, this summit unites global leaders to shape the skies.
From India to the world, the story of international civil aviation is absolutely huge. India is certainly booming in terms of the civil aviation space, but there are challenges and there are concerns, and a lot of those concerns are being addressed over here at the 81st Annual General Meeting of IATA, the International Air Transport Association. There are 1,000-odd aviation leaders from all across the world over here. We are here to try and understand their views and see how India plugs in to the global system.
As the IATA AGM explores global connectivity, India's aviation story offers a striking parallel. The Udan scheme, linking 480 routes to small towns, mirrors the summit's focus of uniting people through flights. Meanwhile, Indigo and Air India's orders for over 1,000 planes in 23-24, 530 Airbus jets for Indigo, 570 for Air India, are positioning India as a global aviation hub. With over 100 international destinations, India's growing in trade and travel complements the AGM's connectivity goals, showcasing aviation's power to build global bridges.
So bringing the IATA AGM back into India after over 4 decades has been a great opportunity both to showcase the changes that have happened with India as well as specifically aviation in India, the emergence of strong airlines in the country, the development, the changes that have happened in the creation of new and great airport infrastructure and modernization that the whole aviation ecosystem has seen. I think it's been a great opportunity to project that strength. The takeaways essentially, I would say that the focus that the various sessions, the specific discussions, even the participation of the Honorable Prime Minister and delivering a keynote at the conclusion of the first day of the AGM, it's brought that spotlight on the emergence of the strong aviation sector in India. So that's been great. Also, IATA, as you're aware, is the International Air Transport Association. So it's the body which has 350 global airlines which are its members, spread across all continents of the world. It's an opportunity for them to come in and experience India firsthand. Many of these airlines, they already fly into India, but many who do not. So I think it's the ability for a forum like this to project India's ability to provide new connections, both connections to within the country as well as to international destinations.
Well, I think we're always focused on connectivity and connecting the countries of the world and keeping everyone connected, having the right infrastructure in place, focus on sustainability, trying to make progress on our goals toward sustainable aviation fuel. And really it's an opportunity to exchange ideas with our counterparts from around the world.
News is not just headlines, it is what impacts you. And news should never be mistaken for noise. What matters is the reality. Accurate, in-depth, and with the right perspective. For over 20 years, I have been a journalist, and never has clarity mattered more than now. At Newsnight, we go beyond the surface. We dissect the details, challenge the narratives, and bring you the unparalleled clarity you deserve in a world clouded by misinformation. We are bold, we are direct. Newsnight, for the news in your interest. Only on NDTV 24x7.
If it matters to
With passenger traffic on the rise, India's aviation sector is at a critical juncture. At the IATA AGM 2025 in Delhi, industry leaders unveiled innovative solutions and visionary ideas to shape the industry for future, ensuring sustainability and growth go hand in hand.
I think sustainability is a key theme for the aviation industry, and as you said, it's one part is the airline industry itself in terms of the emissions that may have resulted from the flying of airplanes, but also on-ground activity. In the case of India, I think there are various moves afoot for production of sustainable aviation fuel, which in our talks with some of the oil marketing companies, we expect that perhaps by 2026 we will actually see SAF produced in India. The other issue that had been holding back developments or movement forward in SAF was with regard to certification of SAF produced. So that as well is being addressed. On the on-ground activity, like I said, the airports in India, they are solar and use of green buildings, green terminals. I think that's really been a focus. So as we have a few which have made rapid strides in that, we would expect other airports as well to follow suit.
Sustainability is one of the primary themes which the international aviation industry needs to look at very, very closely. Let's face it, the aviation industry is a polluter, but what are some of the solutions going forward? Mary Owens-Thompson is Senior Vice President looking after sustainability at IATA. Thank you very much and welcome to New Delhi. How is sustainability a big priority for IATA, and how do you encourage it among airlines which may not have that option with them presently?
No, for sure. But our industry committed to net zero flying in 2050 already in 2021. There was an IATA resolution among our 350 airline members. And the year after, in 2022, our UN sister organization, which is called ICAO, that has the UN member states as members, and they oversee civil aviation for the world, they made the same commitment. So this is a unique industry where we have industry and member states working together with the same firm commitment to achieve net zero in 2050.
I think India is such a powerhouse now economically. It has the opportunity to be a standard bearer for the production of sustainable aviation fuel. You have the facilities, you have the feedstock to do it, and I think it would absolutely mark India out as leaders if you could become first class in the production of sustainable aviation fuel for your growing aviation sector.
Solar-powered airports to biofuels, India's sustainability push is taking off. But it's not just about cleaner fuels. Cutting-edge technology is driving a greener future.
Sustainability and international aviation need to go hand in hand as the future of this industry continues to grow. The fact of the matter is that sustainable fuels must have a greater role as far as international civil aviation is concerned. And that's a crisis around the world, because when it comes to sustainable fuels for aircraft and for airlines, some countries have it while others don't. In all of this, one thing which is available is an entire generation of far more fuel-efficient engines which are 15-20% more fuel-efficient in the past, and engines which pollute considerably less. Vikram Rai, it's amazing to actually talk about General Electric in the context of what we are seeing in India now. But let's first reflect on the IATA event itself. It's just the third time that we've had an IATA event in India. How significant is that?
I think it's very significant because it really stamps the growth story of India as how we are growing. As you've seen, of the last 2-3 years, majority orders have come from here, and even the one of the two largest orders, the Indigo, the Air India, have happened here. So given that it's happening after 45 years in India, it just gives a kind of stamp to our growth story and the importance that the international market attaches to India in civil aviation.
Now, a lot of what you are doing, and certainly going forward as well, has to do with that engine behind you. The RISE technology that brings with it, what, 20% greater fuel efficiency? So before we talk about the business prospects, what is the basic technology which results in that efficiency?
So before I even go there, let me give you some history and track record of GE CFM. Is if you see the LEAP engines which power the single aisle, they are about 15% more efficient than their predecessor CFM. The GNX, which powers the twin aisle 787, is about 15% more efficient than its predecessor, the CF6. Now the RISE, as you mentioned, is about 20%, is likely to be 20% more efficient on this generation. I think the basic technology I'll touch upon too is a higher bypass ratio, which is around 60 versus the current about 15, so 4 times higher bypass ratio. And secondly, is the advanced composites that we have placed in this engine to ensure that we deliver on these efficiencies that we talked about.
GE Aerospace is painting India's sky green, but we also wanted to hear from the people at the AGM, attendees who seek a bright, sustainable future for aviation. So we asked them what got them excited.
So, I think there's some things in this industry that are perennial things. The industry is growing. That's the fantastic news. I think the appetite for travel just gets higher and higher and higher and higher, and that, I don't think that'll ever change. But that means we're an industry in constant growth, and with growth comes growth challenges. Congestion at airports, slots, airspace, and in the context of emissions and environmental sustainability, a potential trade-off there, and how you manage that and how you keep the whole ecosystem as efficient as you can. So this is just a constant in our industry. So it has been there for the longest time, it remains there, and it will continue into the future. And we always find solutions and we get better, but with growth then we have to find even better and better solutions.
Well, I think airlines have done a good job where they can in things like ground equipment, electrification, and trying to operate as efficiently as possible. But we still are dealing with old technology. So sustainable aviation fuel is the most viable option we have right now. So I think that requires all countries to work together to make sure we have a level playing field and can make that fuel available. But we have to continue to look at other options as well.
India's green innovations are firing up the next generation, but challenges like the SAF or the sustainable aviation fuel costs and regulatory hurdles are still in the way. The AGM dug into how to tackle them.
In sustainability in terms of aviation, first of all, you have to look at engine efficiency. A lot of the reductions have come through better made, lighter airframes and also engine efficiency. And one of the messages from Willie Walsh was it's really important that airlines are supported by the airframe manufacturers and also by the engine manufacturers to ensure they are doing their utmost to ensure that when we fly the planes that they are as efficient as possible. The second area is air traffic control, because there are lots of places in the world where, because of inefficient use of airspace, you're seeing planes zigzagging. And if you zigzag instead of going in a straight line, you are clearly burning a lot more fuel. Again, this is not in the control of the airline, but it absolutely needs to be looked at by governments. And of course, finally, the fuel that we put in the engines. In the aviation sector, we don't make our own fuel, so we're completely dependent on governments properly incentivising the production of sustainable aviation fuel. There are lots of people who are looking at electrifying airlines, hydrogen. These are all much further down the road. The process that we have now that is a drop-in fuel, means it can go straight into the jet fuel, mixed with the jet fuel if you need. And it also has all the regulatory ticks, if you like. It's compliant, is sustainable aviation fuel. So that's the great news. The bad news is, as Willie Walsh said today, we're only making 0.7% of our needs. So it's absolutely important that governments work together with regulators and also energy manufacturers to create and incentivize more sustainable aviation fuel.
Number one, where we contribute about 2% of greenhouse emissions around the world as an industry. And that has stayed stable over the past couple of decades, even though the industry has grown exponentially. Why? And I think it's not advertised that well, as we invest billions of dollars in new aircraft that bring down or reduces our environmental impact. I don't think that should be forgotten. I also accept that we're a polluter. You have to accept you're a polluter, okay? What you've got to do is minimize. You can't make it go away. You've got to minimize it as best you possibly can, and that's through investments in aircraft and so forth. Sustainable aviation fuel, you mentioned. I think I'm probably more conservative about that, simply because two reasons. One, it's very costly. Two, suppliers, it's not non-existent, but neither is it, even at that 5% target, which Europe is targeting at the moment, in terms of contribution from sustainable aviation fuel, can't be produced at the moment. So from that perspective, we've got to see some realism in this. I'd much rather from government see a carrot rather than a stick, rather than saying, here's the quota and you've just got to do it, which is, I think, counterintuitive because we're not producing enough at a decent cost at the moment anyway. Is it more incentives around this regime that we can adopt?
With biofuels, digital tech and bold policies, India's aviation is paving the way for a greener future. The voices at the IATA AGM 2025 showed a nation ready to lead, but it'll take teamwork to get there. India's aviation story is rewriting the record books. In just 6 years, the nation doubled its passenger count to 300 million, built 47 new airports, and powered $20 trillion worth of economy in the making. With 66 airports running on renewable energy and plans for 200 more by 2047, who's teaming up to keep this momentum going? The IATA AGM 2025 in Delhi showed us. It's the innovators, dreamers, and the builders who are shaping our future where India's skies shine brighter than ever.
It's often mentioned that India's always been this aviation market of great potential. What's great to have now is actually India delivering up to that potential. It is now the third largest aviation market in the world in terms of passenger traffic, which includes both India's domestic as well as international traffic. It is also the sixth largest market for air cargo, and overall a very exciting aviation market, like I mentioned, which is on account of the emergence of stronger airlines, which are growing its connections both within and outside of India, and growing its the network that connects India to the world, and also with record aircraft orders which the Indian carriers have placed.
Indian skies are boundless, lifted by collaboration and fueled by big dreams. With GE Aerospace leading the way through sustainable engines, groundbreaking tech, and a workforce ready for tomorrow, India's aviation story is reaching new heights. The IATA AGM 2025 proved it.
With thousands of aircraft on order and one of the fastest growing aviation markets in the world, this sector in India is all set to boom. The sky is literally the limit. But with all of the opportunities come challenges. There are significant geostrategic challenges right now. Volatility in fuel prices is also a concern. Safety will always be a primary concern, particularly as Indian aviation grows in terms of size. But now, for consumers, it does appear to be a win-win prospect, with so many more opportunities, so many more routes, so many more airlines, and brand new aircraft to boot. Indian aviation is truly soaring. The IATA General Summit over here in New Delhi goes to prove what the world thinks about India and the huge opportunities that lie in our country.
June was World Environment Day, and honoring the spirit of sustainability was Indian Oil with an interactive event aimed at young students. The event highlighted Indian Oil's efforts towards green innovation as well as cleaner energy, reaffirming its commitment to nurturing the planet we all call home. Take a look.
The auditorium brimming with the energy and hope and the promise of shaping the real change makers of tomorrow, as more than 1,500 students from over 60 schools across India joined an important conversation with A.S. Sani, Chairman of Indian Oil. The event, titled Green Connect with Chairman Indian Oil, Young Voices for a Greener Tomorrow, celebrated Indian Oil's ongoing efforts of putting sustainability in action. It also gave young people a platform and an opportunity to influence their own future.
World Environment Day is an occasion wherein we take a step back, we try to analyze where we are going, how we can improve things, how we can, at the same time when we are supplying fuel to the people, at the same time when we are making the fuel accessible, or you can say energy accessible, when we are making energy affordable for the people, when we are making the LPG and MS, that is petrol and diesel and aviation fuel, to the masses, we are also taking steps which will make this energy supply sustainable.
The theme for this year, Beat Plastic Pollution, was also explored in the interactions, with the focus on the point that plastics themselves are not the problem. It's how we use them which needs to be addressed. Indian Oil Corporation Limited has pledged to achieve net zero operational emissions by 2046. Beyond the boardroom, Indian Oil's outreach programs like Green Connect prove that the most powerful fuel for a greener India lies in the minds and the passion of its young citizens.
So these are the visuals that are coming in. Let's go full frame with it. For every big news story.
You can't defend the indefensible Ruchira Kamboj, but that's what Pakistan has been doing for a very, very long time.
We're sifting through a lot of information. Some is right, some is not right. But I think we are
India tunes in to NDTV.
In fact, on NDTV, like we've been doing for the last few hours, we've been
for fast, clear, and credible news.
We've also been, busting a lot of misinformation that's been coming in.
When I was standing on the road, I saw these lights going off in the sky, and I could hear
where credibility
sounds of like
comes
what sound
first.
like blasts happening.
When Pakistan started shelling and first shell landed here, you can see this.
Well, we have reached at ground zero, and this village is
NDTV. First, fast, factual.
Why was there a hurry? Was it the government that was in a hurry?
I don't want to blame anyone.
Joining us today here in the NDTV newsroom.
Government cannot walk away from this responsibility.
Cricket is region of sort in this country.
Would you like to comment on what happened?
What is the condition of the injured at this point? How many people died?
What exactly happened? You have lost your daughter.
The markets move fast.
And so should your portfolio. Expert insights, real-time stock picks.
Do I buy Ola?
Should I hold CDSL for the long term? Buy, sell or hold?
The answers you need, straight from the experts.
Callers from India and across the world. Connect live Ask, decide, and invest wisely.
Your portfolio, your future. Ask Profit.
Pakistan defeated Mission Sindoor on.
बहुत अच्छा सपोर्ट मिला है। उन्होंने बहुत स्पष्ट कहा कि हम आतंकवाद का विरोध करते हैं।
India's biggest anti-terror diplomacy.
Everyone had tried the level best to put forward India's case.
We communicated to them that Pakistan has been nurturing, promoting and nourishing terrorism.
As MP teams return from the mission.
जीरो टॉलरेंस अगेंस्ट टेररिज्म, ये जो मैसेज है ये पूरे दुनिया तक लेके जाए, अलग अलग देशों तक लेके जाए।
Every MP first on NDTV. NDTV first on every Sindoor frontline.
Is your business future ready? Join the 13-week strategic ESG certification program